This story was shared by a man who refused to give his real name. His hands were shaking the whole time, and he kept looking over his shoulder, like someone had followed him. He only said this happened years ago, in a countryside far from any big town. He and his wife had just moved there. The countryside was quiet, too quiet. Long empty fields stretched in every direction. There were only a few houses, all far apart from each other. At night, the darkness felt thicker than normal, like it was pressing down on the land. Their house was old but cheap. That was the reason they bought it. It stood alone near a dirt road that almost no one used anymore. From the first night, the wife did not like the place. She said the air inside the house felt cold. Even when the windows were closed, she said she felt like someone was watching her from the corners of the rooms. Sometimes she would turn suddenly, thinking she saw movement behind her, but nothing would be there. She began keeping the lights on even during the day. The shadows in the house felt wrong to her, stretched too long across the floor, reaching into the place where no sunlight touched. Her husband told her it was just because the house was new to them. But on the third night, she woke up at exactly 2:17 a.m. She woke her husband and asked, "Did you hear that?" He had not. They listened. At first there was nothing, and then they heard it. Footsteps, slow footsteps walking across the floor downstairs. Someone was walking inside their house. The husband grabbed a flashlight and went to check. He expected to find nothing. Maybe a stray animal had gotten in. But when he reached the bottom of the stairs, he saw something strange. The front door was open. He was sure he had locked it before going to bed. Cold air drifted inside, carrying the smell of wet soil. It was a deep smell, like earth that had been freshly dug. It did not fade. It filled his nose and made his chest feel tight. He stepped outside and looked around. The fields were empty. No people, no cars, nothing moving. Even the grass was still, as if the air itself had stopped. When he came back inside, the door slowly closed behind him. He locked it again and went back upstairs. His wife asked what it was. He said it was nothing, but he did not sleep for the rest of the night. After that, the footsteps came every night, always at 2:17 a.m., always downstairs, always slow. Sometimes they moved from one room to another. Sometimes they stopped for long minutes, as if whoever made them was standing still, listening. The husband started checking the house earlier each night, making sure all doors and windows were locked. It did not change anything. After that, the husband started pretending to be asleep, so his wife would not see how scared he really was. Then one night, the footsteps stopped in front of their bedroom door. They heard breathing on the other side. Not normal breathing, wet, heavy, like someone who had run a long distance. The wife started crying quietly. The husband could not move. The doorknob slowly turned, but the door did not open. After a few seconds, the breathing stopped. Then came a soft scratching sound. Something was scratching the door from the outside, slowly, patiently, as if it knew they were inside. In the morning, they found long deep marks across the wood, not like scratches from an animal. These were too long, too straight, like they were made by fingers. The wood around the marks was dark, as if stained by something damp. They decided to ask the nearest neighbor about the house. The neighbor was an old woman. who lived almost a kilometer away. When they told her where they lived, her face changed immediately. She asked, "You sleep upstairs?" They said yes. She told them they should move out as soon as possible. She said years ago a family lived in that house, a husband, a wife, and their young son. One winter night, the husband went missing. People searched the fields but never found him. After that, the wife began acting strange. She told neighbors she heard her husband walking around the house at night. Then one morning, the neighbors found her sitting at the kitchen table, staring at the wall. She did not speak. She did not move. Her son was gone too. They searched the house. They found the boy inside a small storage room under the stairs. He was alive, but he kept repeating the same sentence again and again. "He comes back at night. He comes back at night. He comes back at night." After that, no one stayed in the house again. The man and his wife laughed nervously when they heard this story. They did not believe it completely, but it stayed in their minds. That night, they decided to sleep in their living room together, with lights on. They wanted to prove there was nothing in the house. They sat close together, pretending to watch television, waiting for the clock to pass 2:17 a.m. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the lights went out. Not just in the house, outside too. The entire countryside went dark. The husband tried to turn the lights back on, but nothing worked. Even his phone had no signal. Then they heard the footsteps. Not downstairs this time. Right behind them. Slow, dragging. They turned around. A tall shape stood in the hallway. It was darker than the darkness around it. At first, it looked like a man. Then it moved forward. Then they saw its face. It had no eyes, only empty holes. Its mouth hung open, too wide, like its jaw was broken. The skin looked pale and stretched, as if it did not belong. On the bones underneath, the wife screamed. The thing rushed toward them. The husband grabbed her hand and ran for the front door. They pulled it open and ran outside into the field. The cold air burned their lungs as they ran. The grass cut against their legs. They did not stop running until they reached the road. When they looked back, the house was gone. There was nothing there, just empty land. They thought they were losing their minds. Then they noticed something in the distance. A figure standing in the field where the house should have been, watching them. It did not move, it only watched. They moved away the next day. They left everything behind. But the story did not end there. In their new home, miles away from the countryside, the wife woke up one night at exactly 2:17 a.m. She sat up slowly and looked at the bedroom door. She asked her husband, "Did you lock the front door?" Before he could answer, they heard it. Footsteps. Downstairs, slow, dragging, moving across the floor of a house that was supposed to be safe. The husband felt the same smell of wet soil filling the air. Then something began walking up the stairs, one step at a time, slow, heavy, stopping halfway, as if listening, then continuing upward. The footsteps stopped right outside their bedroom door. The doorknob began to turn. If something follows you home, where can you go? No one knows what happened to them after that. But sometimes, late at night, people in that countryside say they see a house standing alone in the fields where no house should be. And if they stop their car and listen carefully, they can hear footsteps moving inside, slow, dragging, waiting for someone to come in, always at the same time, 2:17 a.m. That's it for today. If you like our story, please like, share and subscribe. If you have any story to share, please send it to this Gmail. We will share your story too.